you after watching the game back?
Um, there's been it's been a lot of stuck out. One knew going into it that Iowa is a good team, right? They don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and so when you make mistakes, they exploit and capitalize on those, and they definitely did. Um, you know, I did think that our guys, fought all the way through. Obviously had for as unclean as we played, to have the ball with 2 minutes left and a chance to go down and win a game. Um, that it just speaks to the fight that we had as a team. Just didn't execute at a level high enough to go win that game. Played well enough to have a chance to win it, but didn't play well enough to win the game.
Looking at Ohio State, how do you prepare for one of the toughest games on your schedules?
Yeah, just like you do every week. There's the beauty of the way that we prepare. You prep and go to work and film study and everything the same every week. Whether it's you're playing for the Super Bowl or you're playing against West Lafayette. You know what I mean? So that way you're not cutting corners and you're not making it more than what it is. You're just diving into the details of your assignment, the scheme, the technique, and ultimately trying to put yourself in position to make plays in order to go win a game.
Have you or any maybe players emphasized the last time Purdue upset Ohio State and kind of keeping that in the back of your head heading into this weekend?
We'll have a team meeting on tomorrow, and I've got some creative ways to just trying to give the history of this game and what it meant, the last time that they were here, and so they'll definitely be aware.
Ryan, you've had some bad luck with injuries, which is part of football. But can you give us an update on Marquise, on Tyrone, some of the other guys? Obviously, Marcus looks like it's a bad thing. So.
Yeah, you're right. The injury bug hit us the second day of fall camp. When Jamal Edgerrin went down with the knee. Which it looks like Max will not be back. Marquise will not be back. Marcus, won't be back this season. It just kind of, like you said, it comes with the territory. It is a risk that we all, signed up for when we decided to play this beautiful game. We've got a locker room full of guys that are, obviously compassionate for the guys that are not playing anymore, but also are eager for the opportunity to for themselves to go play football. And so it's always been a next man up mentality, and we'll adjust as a staff in the areas that we need to, but still very confident and excited to go compete.
You didn't touch on Tyrone there. Do you expect him back this week?
I'd be shocked if he played this week.
And then I know people are going to talk about Ohio State and this big juggernaut program, but I think you probably feel like you view this as more of an opportunity to flip things around against a top opponent than, a challenge, right?
Yeah, Obviously Ohio State is a national brand for a reason, right? I got a lot of respect for Ryan Day and what he's done in his career. But, you go play to win the game. Like that is the purpose of competition. So you're absolutely right. We're excited to go play, to go compete. And, it's been fun already prepping and game planning against guys that you respect in this profession and against players that you've got respect for that play the game.
Last thing, Deion Burks, I've seen on Twitter, is trying to pull an NIL deal with one of his favorite restaurant establishments. Clearly, this is a guy that takes nutrition very seriously, though, and what he's done to his body, I think, has probably led to what he's doing on the field on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like what I love about football, much like it is in life, like what you pour into it, you usually get out. And he has poured into his body. He's poured into his film study. He's poured into the way he practices, and he's reaping the benefits of that time spent and that dedication to his craft, and I'm looking forward to him continuing to grow and continuing to learn how to affect the game at his position.
Ohio State's offense is well capable, but they've struggled to run the ball a little bit. I mean, are you seeing anything different than? I mean, you've obviously looked at them over the years and what Ryan Day tries to do, and with a different quarterback, obviously. They do anything differently?
Well, that's it's funny. This is the first time I've played against them, so I haven't really had crossover games where we studied what they've done traditionally in the past. I know they've got new faces, right, from a year ago. But that's the thing about Ohio State. Like they just re-up from a roster standpoint. They've got talented offensive line. They've got talented receivers. I feel like every year they're signing 3 or 4 or 5-star guys. They're running backs. They've got 3 of them that they kind of rotate in, and they don't miss a beat. And so whoever's out there, they're there for a reason, and they're talented as all get out. And I think as a staff, they do a good job of making it not overly complicated for those guys so that they can play fast and use their God-given ability to go make plays. And they find creative ways to get guys in space and get guys touches. So it'll be a good challenge, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ryan, have you seen any chinks in Ohio State's armor at all?
I mean, they're undefeated right now. They had the tight one against Notre Dame, where they, to their credit, that Notre Dame had every chance to win that game at the end, and Ohio State just kept fighting. Weren't playing the type of game that they're accustomed to playing. But that speaks to their confidence and their will to win. So chinks in the armor, no, not really. You got to execute, you got to make plays, and you can't pay attention to the logo, right? Like you can't let the brand or the history affect how aggressive you play. And so that's what our guys got to understand is it doesn't. As long as we make it about us and how we execute, how we play the game, how aggressive our mentality, our mindset is, then you go play, you go compete, and you let the game play out and try to go win it. You can't walk into it and give them an edge from a mental standpoint just because they got a Buckeye on the back of their helmet. You know what I mean? So. That's why I love competition. That's why I love football in particular. It's 11 on 11, and the ball is snapped, and then the whistle's blown, and everything that happens in between that is completely up to your control.
Another Freshman of the Year honor for Dylan Thaman. Just kind of talk about his years so far and maybe how he compares to some of the defensive backs you worked with in the past.
Yeah, I mean, where it's unique about Dylan, man, is I was teasing O'Brien the other day. It's like he was created in a lab somewhere. You try to find things in his game, things in his personality, things in his life where you're like, okay, he needs to pick it up in this area. And we get the grade report, and his lowest grade right now is a 99. And so it's like, he takes care of his body the right way. He practices the right, like every rep in practice, he's finishing on the ball carrier with his inside foot up and is hitting with the same shoulder, and he's wrapping up. And so you look at the game, Iowa's got, the number 2 running back. He's talented as all get out, right? And made his return to play against us. And there's a play where, we miss him to the flat from a schematic standpoint. And they get him the ball, and he's turning upfield, and Dylan, like he does in practice, finishes same foot, same shoulder, and like he catches the guy on the sideline, lifts him up, and puts him down. And I'm like, dude, that's a big running back, that's fast, and this is a true freshman that's playing confident that way. But he's confident because of the way he prepares. He's always in O'Brien's office, watching quarterback operation time, seeing who the deep threats are. getting formation tendencies, and then at practice he's calling it out. He's practicing full speed. You go in the weight room and like Dylan could be in there by himself with a workout plan, and he's going to attack every rep with everything he's got with no supervision because that's who he is. That's the way he lives his life. And so have I coached anybody like him before? No, I haven't. Not at 18, not as talented as he is, not with the work ethic and the hunger that he has. So, if I was a betting man, I'd say he's got a long time to play football.
You had another true freshman who started in the secondary last week, Derek Rogers. Just talk about how you think he held up, and then speak to the challenge he's got this week with, of course, those Ohio State receivers.
Yeah, really, I've loved his progression. My relationship with Duda, everybody calls him Duda, that's his nickname, started when he was going into his junior year at Jones High School. In Orlando, I coached Kirby Joseph, who was also a product of Jones. And, he ended up being a third-round pick and is starting for the Lions now. And Duda, much like Kirby, just in practice, loved playing football. He was a wideout at Jones, and you knew when it was one-on-ones because Duda was yapping at the competition, and if you caught the ball, you were going to know about it. But just loved playing the game. And so when I saw that he was still available in the recruiting process, he qualified late and people didn't know if he's going to qualify. And so I'm like, man, if we get him in the building and get some structure around him, I think this kid can really thrive. And so sure enough, he gets here. He's 151, and that's soaking wet, 151. And already he's gained 20 pounds. What I love about him is he loves ball, and he's naive enough to where the stage is not too bright. He doesn't know any better. He just, he knows that there's a pigskin, and the object is to keep it from getting the end zone on defense and to get it across the line on offense. So I think the only play that he was pretty upset about was the dropped interception he had in the end zone. But he's been covering his tail off. He's really embraced playing corner. This is his first time he's ever played corner. And I think he'll have a long career here. God willing, he stays healthy and continues to thrive.
I know you played a very good defense Saturday. It was produced fewest yards they've gained this year. I mean, what can you do just to get the offense back on track, you think?
Yeah, if you looked at, to me it was the early down negative yardage plays. 1st and 10 sacks, 1st and 10 TFLs. When we're good on first down, and then I'm playing with place on second down and get us in a third and manageable to move the chains and then do that over again. That's when we're at our best offensively. And so, we've had 6 games now of cataloged information that we as a staff have looked at. And, our like I've said to the staff at the start of the season, in my opinion, our staff's ability to adapt and to adjust to our roster and to who our opponent is throughout the course of the season will be in direct correlation with our success or our failures. And so, had some poignant conversations on Sunday as a staff and on just about the direction that we need to head in order to close out these last 6 games the right way. And we are completely capable of doing so, and I got every confidence and every belief that we're going to get it done.
Just a couple other personnel ones. Ben Freehill, looks like, I don't know if he's still out, and looks like maybe OC will be back.
Yeah, Ben Freehill's out, and I'll wait on the scouting or the injury report this afternoon to see if OC will be available.
Just on a couple things on Hudson Card. One on the interception, it looked like, at least on television, which is where I was watching it, that he might have dinged his shoulder a little bit. Is that? I mean, again, it's game 7, so the guys are dinged up. How's he doing there? And then maybe as a follow-up, and maybe a separate question, just how, getting rid of the ball and what are you working on from that standpoint? I mean, it seems easy when watching. He's got to get rid of it, but there's some other factors that come into play. But how is that continuing to progress?
Yeah, Hudson got dinged up against Illinois actually, and then practiced on Thursday. And you know the nature of his injury was one that, you know, he wasn't in harm's way of further damaging the injury, but it was going to be painful, and I think that speaks to his competitive spirit and his physical toughness. You know, so every time he was out there and got hit like that, it didn't feel good, I promise you. And so for him to go through the whole game and compete the way he did, I was proud of that fact. Obviously, there are plays that he would love to have back. You know, he was very down after the game, and I think it's just it is a growing process, right? And I think he'll continue to mature and continue to grow. And one of the areas we talked about is like not taking sacks on early downs or in the red area, right, to get you out of field goal range. And I think as a staff, we can also help him out in that area and give him better answers and put him in scenarios where the ball is designed to get out quick. And so, you know, like that's one of the things that we've looked at that we need to adapt and to adjust to give our quarterback the best chance to be successful on Saturdays.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.